Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Shang. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. On Monday, November 14, US President Joe Biden held a 3-hour talk with Chinese President Xi Jinping. It is their first in-person encounter since Biden took office. Emerging afterward, Biden told reporters he was open and candid with Xi about the range of matters where Beijing and Washington disagree. Biden does not believe there is an imminent invasion of Taiwan and seemed hopeful his message about avoiding all-out conflict was received. Each side brought a delegation of 9 officials to the table for Monday's talks at the Mulia Hotel on the Indonesia island of Bali. The meeting began in the later afternoon with Biden and Xi walking toward each other from opposite sides of the hotel lobby, shaking hands in front of a row of US and Chinese flags. They smiled and posed for cameras, and Xi appeared to say through translator, "Good to see you." Biden spoke first.
We share responsibility, in my view, to show that China and the United States can manage our differences, prevent competition from becoming anything ever near conflict, and to find ways to work together on urgent global issues that require our mutual cooperation.
Speaking second, Xi seemed to offer a pointed message to his counterpart. A statesman should think about and know where to lead his country. He should also think about and know how to get along with other countries and the wider world. After the meeting, the White House said in a statement that Biden raised concerns about human rights and China's provocations around Taiwan. But they found at least one area of apparent agreement: that nuclear weapons cannot be used in Ukraine. The two leaders also spoke about North Korea, a long-standing regional security issue. Biden warned if Beijing is unable to rein in Pyongyang's weapons ambitions, the US would beef up its presence in the region, a move that will be read by Beijing as a threat to its own security. According to a Chinese Foreign Ministry readout, Xi stated that Taiwan is the first red line that must not be crossed in China-US relations. Xi referred to the Taiwan question as the very core of China's core interests and the bedrock of the political foundation of China-US relations. Xi stated that the peace and the stability across Taiwan Strait and the Taiwan independence is as irreconcilable as water and fire, according to the readout. Xi also defended China's human rights records and the governance system, saying that China has Chinese-style democracy that fits its national conditions, and acknowledged the differences between China and the US, but stressed that they should not become an obstacle to growing China-US relations. The meeting Monday took place at a remarkably low moment in US-China ties. Relations have deteriorated rapidly amid economic disputes and an increasingly militarized standoff over Taiwan. The tensions have led to a decline in cooperation on areas where the two countries once shared common interests, like combating climate change and containing North Korea's nuclear program. In the National Security Strategy document released last month, Biden, for the first time, identified China as posing America's most consequential geopolitical challenge, and wrote China was the only competitor with both intent to reshape the international order and, increasingly, the economic, diplomatic, military, and technological power to advance that objective. There was almost no expectation among American officials that any of these issues could be resolved simply by getting Biden and Xi in the same room. Just arranging the meeting itself required US and Chinese officials to establish lines of communication after Beijing cut off most channels following House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan over the summer. China's pandemic-era isolation had made it harder in recent years to get a read on Beijing's intentions abroad, as Xi declined to travel outside of China. But they believe that is all about to change. Monday's meeting is the first after Xi secured his norm-breaking third term. Chinese delegation, including some of Xi's most trusted aides, offers a rare insight into Beijing's foreign policy. Xi was accompanied by his chief of staff, Ding Xuexiang, who has been promoted to the 7-member Politburo Standing Committee. Ding has accompanied Xi on most of his trips in recent years, including a visit to a steamed bun shop in Beijing and to the lavish Mar-a-Lago retreat of former President Donald Trump. Foreign Minister Wang Yi sat on the other side of Xi. Wang was promoted during October's Congress to the 24-member Politburo. A noticeable absentee on the Chinese side was Qin Gang, the ambassador to the U.S. Qin was regarded as a top contender to succeed Wang after his elevation to the new Central Committee last month. He was made ambassador in July last year. Nicholas Burns, the U.S. ambassador to China, tweeted on Wednesday last week that he had met Qin before his recent departure to Washington. Qin was in Beijing for the week-long Party Congress. He Lifeng was given a seat at the table. He is the chairman of the National Development and Reform Commission, an economic planning agency, and a new member of the Politburo. Two vice foreign ministers, Xie Feng and Ma Zhaoxu, were also present at the talks, as was Yang Tao, Director General of the Department of North American and Oceanian Affairs at China's Foreign Ministry. Lulu Hua, Xi's secretary, was also present. Hua Chunying, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman and an Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs, sat on the other end of the table. Biden also announced his Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, would visit China early next year to follow up on the meeting. This will be the first China trip by Mr. Blinken, his first as Secretary of State. The trip would have the same broad aims as the meeting in Bali: to keep the lines of communication open and to have frank exchanges about important issues at senior levels in order to avoid conflict. American and Chinese officials plan to work out details of the trip over the coming weeks. U.S. officials said after the meeting in Bali that the two countries would resume diplomatic talks that Beijing had frozen after Mrs. Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. But analysts say Mr. Blinken and other administration officials will continue to enact tough policies on China, even as they carry on diplomacy. Yuan Yuan is a political scientist at the University of Michigan. She said, to use Theodore Roosevelt's phrase, Biden's approach to China can be described as speak softly and carry a big stick. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.